Welcome back to Channel talkSPORT End Zone, and we're talking about the Netflixification of the NFL, but sport in general, because this past year we've seen Jake Paul, Mike Tyson on Netflix. A few technical issues, but a huge event that they threw money at and made.
Sorry, you were buffering right there. I couldn't understand what they were saying.
We have seen the Christmas Day games.
Yeah.
Terrible games of football. I say that as a man who had to be here in the building on Christmas Day on his own covering those games. Both of them blowouts,
they had Beyonce.
But they had Beyonce, and they had the stars in the stadium, and they made it look great, and they brought in all the best analysts from all the other channels.
Yeah.
The product was sensational.
It was a show. It was a show.
It was just a shame about the football itself. And then, you know, they've just debuted the WWE. Raw last night, as we're recording this, on Netflix. I stayed up and watched it, and it was a sensational production again. Threw money at it. Travis Scott's there. Macaulay Culkin's there, weirdly. Like, all these great stars from around Hollywood. The Rock turns up. Every big name from the last 10 years. Undertaker. Hulk Hogan, even though he gets booed out of the building. Like, Netflix have clearly decided that live streaming and live sport is the future of their platform. And if they can get a few mentions and a few jokes about Stranger Things in there from the WWE, they'll enjoy that as well. I have been genuinely like, I sometimes look at these and I look at it when Prime came in and did it, and I worry about the streaming thing, and I think like such a linear TV.
Yeah, I am too at my advancing age, yes.
But I'm really starting to think that with what they're throwing behind it weight-wise and what it could do for the NFL and what it could do for the product, I know so many people who watched the WWE last night who normally wouldn't watch it because they're like, oh, for the first time ever, I've been able to access it for free, so why don't I give it a go?
Because you're already paying your $7.99 or your $9.99, whatever the heck Netflix charges now for your subscription. Yeah, you have it for free. That's how Netflix wins, right?
And I know a bunch of people who on Christmas Day, after they finished their meals, turned on Ravens-Texans, ended up watching the whole second quarter, waiting for Beyonce. Imagine if that had been a good game of football. Imagine if they'd been watching...
But what was better, Ravens-Texans or Baby Reindeer? Which was actually like a better horror movie?
But like, what I'm saying, like, imagine if it had been Bills-Lions for a couple of weeks ago, and Netflix had got that. Like, if they'd managed to...
Right.
That level of game, and you get this new audience in, and there are 30 million people watching, and they're seeing some really good football.
And they stick around to watch The Diplomat or whatever. Yeah.
I care about what it does for the sport, and what about bringing new eyes to the NFL. And I really, really feel like I'm sucking up to a paymaster or whatever, but I had someone who had so much doubts about this as an idea, and actually I'm really kind of getting behind it now.
I am 100% fine with it. While being a linear TV person, I mean, I'm not going to mention the subscription that I have, but I do pay for some version right now of cable TV, and we stream everything else. Well, this is where the world is going, and I'm not the first person to say this, but I mean, I'll pick it up right now. I mean, like, the entire world is on our phone right now. It's a streaming mobile world, and once that Pandora's box open, you can't put it back in. Look at what Amazon Prime has done for the NFL. Look at the fact that the NBA, we cover a lot of this at talkSPORT.com. Look at what the NBA did in its recent TV contract. They wanted to go streaming. Major League Baseball is trying to get there, and the NFL, the king of kings. I actually feel like if there's one league world that's behind the times, there's a lot of streaming. Oddly, it's the Premier League.
I was going to say this, right?
And don't even get me started on the whole 3 p.m. Saturday thing here. That's from like the 1920s.
Hey, I'll defend the blackout to the hill. I love the blackout.
I love it because it makes you go to the match. I get it. We could talk that a different time, and we'll do that on another segment. But that is where the world is going, and Netflix was smart about this, Will, because I used to cover a lot of this when I was in Houston. As much as we want to talk sports and matchups, it's all about money. Like, the whole world, the money drives the world. Money is in streaming, even if it's so broken apart and there's too many apps, but it's going to consolidate. But ultimately, that is where the new generation's at. That's how you get more eyeballs. That's how you engage people. And the Netflix was really smart because the only thing that still works on linear TV is what, Will? Is sports. Because if you're in the United States of America, 80 of the top 100 programs are football programs. It's the NFL. That's why they want it, because they know everyone will still watch live sports, and you're going to push it over to streaming, and that's how you keep getting the eyeballs and the money.
It's fascinating to me because I'm really glad you brought up the Premier League example, because that Prime deal ends at the end of this year. And they've taken these where they get the full midweek range of matches, and they get to put every single one on. And from what I understand, it's not been a huge success. And I look at the model, and I can't work out whether it's a lack of the initial investment, whether it's because the quality of the products they're offering isn't
I've not
much
been impressed
better
with the quality of that product over here.
I can't put my finger on it, but it just feels off. Versus, it's much more expensive to pay the money for a Sky subscription, a TNT subscription. Obviously, talkSPORT does you all the matches for free. That's where you should be listening to it, of course. But like, it's so much more pricey, and yet people just never got behind it. I think, like, I don't know if it's the lessons learned from how they did it with the Premier League, is that they're approaching this differently. But I mean, again, just come back to the WWE example. There was a very subtle thing last night that I thought was, as much as they had the superstars in there and they did it in LA and they got all these big name former wrestlers back, you had Logan Paul. Obviously, we talked, Jake Paul did the stuff for the stream before. Logan Paul has been a feature guy, right? He wrestles 4 or 5 matches a year at big events, turns up to a few others, gets eyeballs on the product whenever he does. Last night, he committed to becoming a full-time WWE wrestler.
That's huge breaking news. Huge breaking news.
Like on WWE Raw, on Netflix. And that's clearly Netflix have gone, here's the pile, we want Logan Paul full time. And that's just going to bring young people to the product. I feel like these people get it in a way that they haven't got it with the Premier League. And I think it has to be different with the Premier League. I think it can't be, let's just find the cool young thing and throw that in there, because football fans are very, very cynical to that stuff. I was going to say, the thing I think NFL fans get it. They love the razzmatazz and they're okay with that.
It's been really interesting for me moving over here and living here for the last 18 months, because I was in that world and now I'm in this world, so I kind of see both sides. And I will say, and God, I do love it over here in many, many ways. In a lot of ways, it's better. But America's really good at some things. One of those is making money and having a better economy. And the NFL, when it comes to streaming on Amazon and streaming on Netflix, both of those there were some early issues with Amazon, but both of those have been pretty seamless and the quality is high enough. And that's the thing about sports fans, Will, is, we care about it so much. We're so passionate about it. It's our religion, and we take it very, very seriously. And we know what is good and we know what is bad, and we know what's A level and we know what's B level and D level. And what Netflix has been able to do, what Amazon Prime's been able to do with their NFL, it's good enough. It's not that different than Sunday Night Football on NBC, and that's what we all grew up with the last 20 years.
Is it because fans of those sports, and I say that as someone who follows both very closely, obviously, is it because fans of those sports are more willing to buy into the gimmicky stuff, are more willing to try something new? Like Amazon do the Prime Vision stuff, where they take the next gen stats and you can watch the All-22 view, and they do all the different languages. And people really buy into that. People love that. Now, they've also got the best panel in all of TV that only does one night a week, and it's almost annoying their talent is available elsewhere. I feel like Premier League fans just don't like. They've done the Monday Night Football thing. They've done the kind of Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher thing, which I think steals a lot from American TV.
Don't get me started on
the video screen and so they've bought into it like 20%.
I will give you. I've been waiting.
The Premier League need to go all in on it and really.
I love that we're having this conversation. I've been waiting 18 months to say this, and I'm just gonna. I don't know what I'm about to say. I'm just gonna make it up right now but I feel this very strongly. I have been very disappointed by the quality of streaming TV programming in the UK compared to the United States of America. Now, granted, it's the United States and it has some issues, but it can't even compare over here. It's just not good enough over here. And I've seen the high bar over there, and it's kind of B grade over here. It really is. I don't know how that changes, and that comes into contracts and on. But they understand over there, and that's what Netflix is capitalizing on, whether it's the WWE, whether it's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, whether it's the NFL. Netflix has found that new world. They're using all of their expertise, and they haven't been afraid. And that's part of the thing. You have to jump in. Like, if you're going to do it, you have to jump in. And Netflix is jumping in head first, and now they're ahead of everybody. They're ahead of Amazon Prime. Well, I don't even know what NBC or CBS or any of those other networks is anymore. Netflix has it, and they have the reins, and I don't see them letting go of it.
I think it's a sensational point, because for me, the reason it's not working here isn't the fans themselves. It's the fear of the fans. I think the Premier League go, they don't like it when we do something new. Like Match of the Day, now Gary Lineker's gone, are going to do this slightly different non-linear version. The BBC have suddenly got rights to be able to show video on the website as well. And so they're taking the traditional Match of the Day format, which has existed for 60 years, and changing it. And they're worried, they're convinced that football fans are going to be up in arms about it. They're convinced that if with the streaming services they went more American and bigger and flashier and more graphics and more information, and more, that people would go, oh no, don't like this. We just want 4 blokes sat around a table whinging at each other. That's what we've been so used to for
Which
years.
is kind of what it is.
I really think the first organisation who go, no, let's go all in, let's do it how they're doing it on TV in the States, let's really go for this bigger product. I think they're going to look like geniuses because I think they are ready for it.
And that's the thing. My last point is TV fell behind. TV used to be ahead of the curve, right? In the 1950s, 60s, I know my TV history, 70s, 80s, it was ahead of the curve. And then all of a sudden, you had the internet and streaming, and all of a sudden it was outdated. In America, Netflix and the way they broadcast the NFL is still ahead of the curve. And now they're trying to use all of the new stuff because they have to connect with everybody on here. And over here, it still feels like kind of you're watching like 1990s television with the way they do it. And I applaud, Netflix could have some better real programming. I don't even know what I want to watch on there sometimes anymore. And I question why I pay for it. But now I have to keep, they won. They won me because I have to keep paying for Netflix because now they have NFL games. Like, that's what it comes down to, right?
What we're saying is the Premier League need to learn from the NFL and American sports.
Because the NFL is the king. The NFL is the king. I told Simon Jordan that.
We've done it time and time again. We've had this debate. And there's so much more they could learn. But that is very specifically something I think the TV product here needs to change and needs to follow the American model. Not where I expected this conversation to go. Really enjoyed it, Brian.
That was
Top
fun,
stuff. Guys, go like, subscribe, get involved in the channel. Leave your comments below. Would you hate the Premier League if they started to bring in all of these visual elements, all of this extra stuff, all of these extra reporters? Or are you ready for your product to be bigger and better and for your money to be spent better? I'd love to hear from you, so let us know. Comment below, like, subscribe to the channel, and check out all our other great content.